Which black men do you listen to? I was thinking about this the other day. Some of my students, in fact, a majority of my students are from single parent backgrounds. Okay, I'm not going to get into the whole 30 years black feminist matriarchal rule because that's evident on the streets. You see the flames, you hear the police sirens. But in terms of resolving the situation, it's not an immediate fix. It's a long-term evolutionary process of study and knowledge acquisition. Where do you get your knowledge from? Some of the kids get their knowledge from the TV. In worst case scenarios, now that the black Afro-Caribbean, Israelites, Moorish, whichever classification you want to put on it, a communication structure of hip-hop's been broken down. We don't even have our secondary and tertiary support mechanisms there anymore because now it's been infiltrated by, UK rappers, just absolute crap, with a few exceptions. In America, you have your Drakes, you have your Lil Waynes, you have your Nicki Minaj's. Over here, you got your pregnant heads and other stupid people that aren't really saying anything. I'm not even going to bother dignifying them. But then who do you get your information from? Where do you get your information from? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out a little list of people that I get information from. And obviously, the main source of information that's made me the person who I am, or what I'd like to consider the knowledgeable person that I am, books. Books are your main resource. Books. You can't go wrong with books. In fact, even if you are a book monster, it's kind of hard to go down a path of erroneous, false knowledge without coming across a book that challenges everything that you've already been learned. I say that with respect to some of my sun-worshipping friends who fall right along in line with the satanic, Masonic Illuminati, but swear up and down that it's part of the culture that should be affected. Yeah, that's all good. Read more books, Negroes. So just going through the people that I listen to on a regular basis that keep me informed. To start off with, I'm going to try and do this alphabetically as well. Afri Synergy. Afri Synergy is a guy that's been on, and that's AFRISYNERGY. Afri Synergy. He's been on YouTube for a while. I remember when I first came onto YouTube and I was going through my, some people were waking me up to certain things. I'd come across Afri Synergy and I just used to think, man, this guy's lame. He's behind the time. He's one of those older guys and he's not really seeing things for how they are. I take that opinion right back. Afri Synergy has to be, right now, one of the best news articles that I follow on YouTube from a black Afrocentric. I don't even say Afrocentric because then you're going to get the wrong impression. But let's just say from an African-centered or a black-centered standpoint. And it's really good and refreshing to hear the news from a black-centered standpoint sometimes because you see the bullshit going on and sometimes the propaganda being meted out to you by the mainstream media and it's just a discussion going on in your head like, I can't believe this, blah, blah, look at all the dead black bodies. There's no one mentioning the dead black bodies. And then Afri Synergy comes out and says, there's a race war and Obama is sanctioning the murder and killing of other black people. And you're thinking, yeah, that is what I was seeing. Yeah, thank you for reaffirming that because that's what I was seeing. I thought I was going mad there for a minute. So Afri Synergy has been quite good. There's another guy, but I'm not going to mention him because this is about black people. There's another guy who's following the Libya developments pretty well, but Afri Synergy does it for me in terms of relating it to my culture and how I am perceived by the world and how I should perceive the world. Next on down, there's another guy who I got into when I first got in here, is Anti-Hostile. Anti-Hostile is very good for Anti-Hostile, all on YouTube, fantastic for a historical dump, and I don't mean feces, I mean in terms of an archive of Malcolm X videos, Martin Luther King speeches, Martin Luther Coon speeches, that's what I say. If you want to see Muhammad Ali speeches, numerous different small documentaries. I think the one that I used in education was Guns, Slaves and Drugs, which was a good one. But then there was some other ones that came out which were pretty cool. Some pretty cool, never seen before interviews with Muhammad Ali, the civil rights table discussions, secret experiments of the CIA. I remember that. Oh yeah, of course, the secret recordings of the CIA trying to turn Malcolm X, which they ended up releasing at some point, which helped you understand how much of a strong brother Malcolm X was. And boy, if the FBI came to FBI, CIA, whatever, whichever alphabet soup you want to attribute to this demonic activity, I believe it was the FBI. FBI came, and you can hear them trying to turn Malcolm X, and no doubt they would have visited Farrakhan, no doubt. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave it with that. Anti-hostile, very good if you want to catch up on anything that you missed in the civil rights movement, any of the strong black brothers from the past. I believe it's got little bits of Khalid. I'm not sure if it's got, I don't think it's got any Khalid Muhammad on there. No, that's another archive I'll get to, that which I'm working my way on down to. But yeah, Anti-hostile, very cool for all of that historic catch-up stuff. Oh, next one down, Avenue Rants. Now, Avenue Rants, I believe he's turned his name to now Dan Freeman 717. But initially, Avenue Rants was one of the other guys that I think started speaking maybe about the same time as me. I'm in about my 5th or 6th incarnation on YouTube right now. Started off quite a bit of a militant, and I was doing other different types of things. But then, you know, it's all about communication, really. Some people, you know, you might post several types of documentaries and people just don't get it. So sometimes you have to just be expressive and talk. Avenue Rants is good for breaking things down, how they go down in America, the black male-female dynamic in the workplace, in the professional work environment, something that I relate to immensely, and it helps you realize the similarities, the synergies, the fact that we are the same people because the same fucked up shit is happening across the continent. And Avenue Rants goes through 1 or 2 different stories calling out the bullshit in the same way that we or most men should be calling out the bullshit. If you have any responsibility to your culture, you should be calling out the bullshit. And Avenue Rants does that pretty well. There are a couple of other ones that I've got. There's Ban Lawyer, who's an Israelite who speaks on the streets. He's pretty good. There's Bantu Nation, or when I say Ban Lawyer, I don't just mean pretty good in a very shallow sense. If one is serious about Scripture and the interpretation of Scripture and how that actually manifests itself in your own moral behavior, Ban Lawyer is quite good because he's out there cursing out people for their really slack, whorish behavior. And you know, and they're walking around thinking it's the norm. There are a couple of other people that I don't really get on, you know, I want to say get on with. I mean, I take in their views. There's Barbarossa. I believe he's a brother, but he speaks about things from a very male perspective. He's anti-misogyny. As you can see, the homosexual feminist agenda is being pushed quite a lot, and Barbarossa is anti that and provides you with 1 or 2 solutions as men to combat any sort of feminazi activity. So I've got him on the list. Then we've got Black Men Vent. Black Men Vent. Black Men Vent. Oh, when I first discovered Black Men Vent, I was like, how did you know? How did you know? How long have you been here? I had to go back and go through all the archives, the different shows. It's a tragedy, baby. I tell you what, yeah, Black Men Vent, if any black man has not come across blackmenvent.com yet, get onto Black Men Vent, get onto the forum. Yeah, start healing your community by calling out the bullshit, the amoral, immoral degradation that tries to stalk the earth and call itself your culture. Let's get rid of that shit, okay? And one of the forums or the focal points for the Spartans is Black Men Vent. You've also got Black Men Vent TV. Check it out. Yeah. Oh, next underneath that is one of the brothers from the ends, well, not this ends, different ends. We have Black Power Stick. Now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you're a young black guy and you want to know what intelligent black men are speaking about in the UK at the moment, circa 2008 to 2011, around about now, then Black Power Stick's a good guy to get onto. There's another guy which I'm going to get down to. I might as well mention him now. Black Power Stick, Heavenly Truth 1, Heavenly Truth 1, and Black Power Stick. If you're from the UK, get onto these guys' blogs, man. Start going through the stuff that they've been talking about. They've been covering all the events. They've been covering, you know, the shooting of Mark Duggan, the riots. They know the real reasons behind the riots. It was never a race thing. You know, the conservative. We've got the conservatives in. What did you expect? You're going to start to see black people getting thrown off the top of tower blocks again. That's what you're going to start to see. Okay, right. Okay, right. Black Power Stick, Heavenly Truth 1. 2 UK brothers holding it down. They have my maximum respect. Go and check out their videos. That's Black Power Stick and Heavenly Truth 1. Both on YouTube. Coming down a bit. Okay, we're getting into the extremism, but I have to go into the extremism because without extremism, you have no perspective. And that's Black Women Exposed Free. Now, you know, you have to wonder about some of these people, whether or not they're actually pathological about this stuff, because it's just post after post after post. And I'm not falling behind anybody else when I'm saying that, and it's not a criticism, brother, at all. But Black Woman Exposed is on a mission. Okay, now I understand when things were fucked up. You had the black male-female dynamic. Yes, I understand. And black men have been able to get their voice through YouTube. Yes, I understand. And Black Women Exposed actually helps you as a man come off that black woman worshipping dead ends. That will get you so fucked up in your personal lives. You have to understand that, you know, if we're going to move forward as a community, it's going to be a patriarchal community. I am the man. I will be running my house. Thank you very much. That's how I've been brought up. I was brought up by a father, and I will have sons who will become fathers, and that's how my family is going to run. And if any woman thinks they're going to come up and start calling the shots and financial shots, you've got to be joking. Go back to America for that shit. Go back to America for that shit. Now, am I a now I know misogyny, and now I've forgotten the other opposing terminology, which will come to me at some point. But am I anti-female? No, I'm not anti-female. I'm pro-family. Okay, I am pro-family, and any female who wants to get on board with that pro-family tip is more than welcome, and maximum respect and maximum consideration and care, obviously. But, you know, there is no beating, physical assault type nature of anything. This is spiritual. It's about family versus the independent physical psychological state that you've been placed into due to Willie Lynch. Okay, and if you're going to get over that as a black man, okay, and you're going to be the independent, but I suppose Black Women Exposed does need to be taken in to a degree, okay, to a degree. Moving on from that, we have my brother in Haiti down there, Carlito Way 44. Carlito Way 44, man. Okay, Carlito 44, man. You have to check out. Carlito is a Haitian. He's a brother who came into the truth roughly about the same time as me, but this guy puts it down via cartoons. He watches the same videos as me, yeah, and some of the videos that we've watched it's funny to see some of the videos that end up popular end up in Carlito's Way, where he animates it. And he takes certain bits from other things that have been quite relevant to black culture and throws it in cartoon form. Carlito Way, CARLITOWAY 44, Carlito Way 44. Check it out. It's very funny. It's very politically orientated, and you know. But you know, if you're an integrationalist, nah, don't worry about it. You're gonna have much fun there. Moving down, okay, yeah, we have Dan Freeman 717, but as I said, Dan Freeman 717 used to be Avenue Rants. We got Da Vinci 15. Now, Da Vinci 15, I used to watch for a while, and that Da Vinci 15 was my silver guy. He helped me understand the financial machinations as they are currently. Although I was doing my own research with, but then also in terms of investing your money, in silver as a hedge against inflation. That my savings are in silver now. Behind this guy. Unfortunately, Da Vinci 15 decided to try and take me away from physical, material investments and try to get me to invest in a newly found concept known as Bitcoin. Right, and we all know what happened. The Bitcoin ended up being 1 pence a share. It crashed. It crashed. Okay, moving on. Okay, sorry, Da Vinci. But that's just what happened. Moving down to my guy Demcad. Okay, yeah, Demcad. Demcad is a prepper. Okay, and if you don't know, UK's only a few people in the UK have started building their little basements, their little air conditioned, air purifying, self-sustaining little emergency basements in the bottom of their mansions. Why? There are a whole host of reasons why you might assume that people are doing that. But Demcad goes into, prepping. He's got his sawn off. I think he's got his Mossberg. He's got his AK-47. He's got his dried beans and rice. Okay, and I'm not mocking him in any way. I mean, he does very good tactical reviews on, bits of, tactical belts, weaponry. That's all slightly beyond us here in the UK because we don't have any of that shit. It's all fists. Unless unless you're an informant for the police, in which case, yeah, you'll have loads of guns. That's not really how we get down. But Demcad is a prepper. He's also socially aware and basically keeps his finger on the pulse of this economic crash, the slow destruction of the system, as I'd like to see it. Some people ridicule him, and I understand why they do. But I have to have him there anyway, and Demcad's a funny guy to watch, especially when he's running. Okay, so Demcad is definitely in there. Okay, moving down, let's see who we have here. Oh my goodness, there's still a few people that this is kind of like, how can I put it? There is an entire spiritual version of this video that I could do. But I don't want to give too many things away. I want people to come to their own conclusions. I want to lead them to the right thing rather than just hitting them over the head with the nuclear missile. So one of the videos I'm going to have to refer is one called GMS Walk and Talk. Okay, GMS Walk and Talk. Okay, now GMS Walk and Talk, whether or not you're into, I think it's GMS Walk and Talk 2 now, okay? Whether or not you're into biblical scripture or not, I'm not really interested in whether you are or not. I'm just giving you the people that influence the manner in which I think. These are some very scholarly brothers. They're notorious. They are loved and hated in equal measure. Loved by those who have a thirst for knowledge and knowledge themselves. Hated by coons, and that's enough for me, really. That's enough for me to get onto the right side. But GMS Walk and Talk, right now, the aspect that they give you, or the aspect of the knowledge that they give you on this particular site, which I've noticed is very different from the other affiliated ones. This one gives you the oncoming. This one talks about all the laws and how they relate to scripture in terms of prophecy. Okay, and now some people that's already a bit too much, and they're going, "Whoa, what are you talking about?" But in terms of understanding what is actually written, and things like your King Alfred plan, which is morphed into Rex 84, and you got things like Project Megiddo, and you got all the CIA COINTELPRO operations that have been running. GMS Walk and Talk break that stuff down, and it's really good. I mean, I consider it A1 number 10 information myself. Okay, how anyone else wants to take that is entirely up to you. But fantastic resource of information there, GMS Walk and Talk. There's another guy further down. I can't find him at the moment. He's called the Iceman. There's a black guy called the Iceman. He used to do loads of videos, and I think now he's gone. I don't know where he's gone. Oh yeah, Junebug Obama. Now, Junebug Obama. Yeah, I like Junebug Obama because he's a kind of regular brother. Okay, he usually comes through with some pretty relevant conversational twos and fros, and he's kind of like middle of the road. I kind of like expect Junebug Obama to run into a telephone box, spin around, and maybe come out as some sort of super black dude. But you kind of feel like Junebug Obama's playing Clark Kent, if that makes sense. And he does kind of keep it very. Intellectual, okay, which I like. Sometimes it's just good to discuss the circumstances without throwing in any of the prejudices or preconceptions. And Junebug Obama tries to approach each article like that. I may be wrong. He may think he may think he's really extreme. But sometimes it's good to hear fair and balanced opinions, and I get that from Junebug Obama. Mayor of Blacktown. Now, the Mayor of Blacktown, full props, 100% props to the Mayor of Blacktown. Okay, now the Mayor of Blacktown is slightly different. As I said, I get my 100% A1 information from the GMS Walk and Talk and other affiliated sites when it comes to information. But the Mayor of Blacktown has had his finger on the pulse since day one. Okay, in terms of showing black men how they have been psychologically destroyed by feminism, how the black culture has been destroyed by feminism, how homosexuality is being spread through the black community at the moment, how it's being made more desirable to the young boys, and fragmenting our system now that a majority of the family are matriarchal led. And Blacktown, the Mayor of Blacktown, the Blacktown is in our heads. Remember, Blacktown, there is no one particular place, and this guy is definitely the mayor of that Blacktown that I have in my head. Moving further down, then we have the Nightwings. We have Nightwing, Nightwing TV, Nightwing BME, and I'd put Nightwing in the same category of Black Men Exposed. I don't believe they're the same people, but they have the same fervor. If you want to see some really ratchety shit that, takes the whole the Queen thing off the pedestal, well, you'll get that from Nightwing TV. And really and truly, what can I say, guys? I say, listen, if things like Ghetto Gaggers didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to make this shit. Bear that in mind, okay? Things like Ghetto Gaggers did not exist, then, you might have actually something negative to say about these brothers, Nightwing and Black Men Exposed. But unfortunately, Ghetto Gaggers does exist. And therefore, so do these guys, and rightly so. Oh, Rick Scorpio, the man Rick Scorpio 1. Rick Scorpio 1. Get on to Rick Scorpio 1. Rick Scorpio 1 is in the same vein, I would say, as Black Power Stick, Heavenly Truth 1, in terms of relaying the information, letting you know what's going on right now, and letting you know that I see you. I know what's going on. Yeah, you're not going to get anything past me. Okay, and Rick Scorpio has been coming out some very good videos. I've been following them. I'm subscribed to him. Can't wait to hear what he wants to do, which take on things he's going to do next. But yeah, Rick Scorpio's there, another intelligent black man to listen to. If you don't have a dad around the house, you want to know what other black people are thinking about a particular subject, well, all of these names are good to go on. Okay, next, going back down now, coming back closer to how I operate on a regular basis, we have Ringo for Life. Okay, I would like to think I'm more extreme than Ringo for Life, but however, Ringo for Life is a brother. Okay, Ringo for Life is there to call out the bullshit in the religious church. Obviously, when they came to destroy your mind, they destroyed your mind through the church. Primarily, there was no such thing as a white Jesus. There was no such thing as a white Mary. Get over it. Get over it. Okay, but also in terms of pointing out things like the prosperity doctrine and exposing people like Bishop Eddie Long, Yeah, I mean, Ringo for Life is good for that. I think he banned me. Actually, he banned me from one of his channels. But yeah, because I mean, he was focusing on some woman. I can't remember. You know, some woman was just trying to use the internet to just scam money out of people, and we know this happens on a regular basis. Come off it. If she was Nigerian, no one would have batted an eyelid. But you know, I think I got banned. Moving on. We have Sarnetta. Now, Sarnetta. Love. I love Sarnetta. I love Sarnetta as a brother. Love Sarnetta, no homo. Do we have to say that? Do we have to say that shit? But there's so much homosexuality about. It's hard for one brother to say, I love listening to this where, you're a gamer. No, Sarnetta comes with the real man shit. Comes with the man shit. Stops people on the street. Him and Sutek have come out with some of the most, hey, look, sorry, hey, you let the genie out the bottle, you guys. You guys let the genie out the bottle with some of these things, man. Yeah? Stopping the people on the street. And some of your videos went viral, and you know this, okay? So Sarnetta and Sutek on the street. I can't remember which street. It's Harlem 145th. You know how they do. Now the streets are over there, right? But I bet he's near the Apollo Theatre. He does his thing near the Apollo Theatre up there in Harlem, and he's a soldier, man. He's from the Black Power movement. He's been going for a long time. And if you want to hear another perspective, I mean, personally, I don't agree with some of the stuff when they start introducing all the black Muslims and things like that, because I think that is just the wrong road, and there's so many ways to prove it and so forth, blah blah. But he has to entertain all wings of the Black Power movement, as he does. If you ask me, son, we know who the biggest Hebrews are out there, and I've never seen them on your show or you interact with them once. I mean, you've seen this mighty Hebrew guy, but come on, just 5 minutes down the road, you got the best camp in the world. So, and it'd be nice to see you at least incorporate the way they're seeing the world as it is at the moment. Moving down after Sarnetta. Oh, Sony Radio 2. Sony Radio. Right, Sony Radio 2. I like Sony Radio 2. Don't get me wrong. He's come out with some really hard shit, Sony Radio 2. I do think it's a little bit dubious because me, personally, I'm anti this homosexuality creeping into the music industry thing. And I think he's got this view where he doesn't care or let bygones be bygones or something like that. And I'm like, fuck that shit. However, other than that, Sony Radio 2, and I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, boy, I'm probably going to get a long-ass video telling me about how wrong I am. But Sony Radio 2's got some really good videos on there. Sony Radio 2, he's got a good intro, good. Basically, he's doing things from an American perspective anyway. He's an American dude giving you his breakdown of how things have developed around the world. Some of the things I don't even know about because it happens in the US. So, I'm learning about this shit. Street Consciousness is Sarnetta. Yeah. Street Consciousness is Sarnetta. Who we got? There was Blackmail Law. He was there for a while. He was that black man. Spoke really fast like that. And I don't know if that's something to do with the way he did the videos. But I think he's kind of been kicked off. The Forerunner 777. The Forerunner. Come on now. Now you're with the intro to the Forerunner Chronicles. Now, right. The Forerunner is like he's more Christian. He's more Christian than Ringo. Okay, he's even more Christian than Ringo. Okay? If you want grades, you start off easily with the Forerunner, and then you might work your way to Ringo, and then you'd end up somewhere down with the GMS a bit later on, and that's just how it goes. The Forerunner's got some good stuff on the Masonic influences into music and how it's been creeping in, because we know the Masons for goodness sake, the whole Great Millstone camp is derived off the back of the Rosicrucians coming in and infiltrating a Hebrew Israelite school. I believe it was the school up at One West, I believe, and since we and I found out about that totally different, in a totally different way. I found out about that. So we got the Forerunner, we got the God 720, we got the God 720. Now here's the thing. The God 720. Do I advise people to listen to the God 720? The God 720 comes out with some good historical information sometimes, but in terms of what he believes is the root of his spiritual power, I believe is totally 100% satanic. I'm sorry, the God 720. I mean, we coexist on a lot of things. This is what I'm saying about the blue team. The blue team is arguing over which, what color blue is. But anyway, yeah. So the God 720 comes up with loads of good historical information. He was the one who came out with the downloads on slave tools. If you type in slave tools, it helps you really realize how badly black people were tortured during the times of slavery. And he has also some very good old documentaries on slavery, and but not just slavery, just the mentality of those who are committing the acts. Okay, which is what you kind of need to get involved in and know about. But in terms of what he believes is spiritual, I believe it's totally satanic. Sorry, God 720. But moving on, we have the Iceman to you. Now, the Iceman to you, I don't know where he's gone. The Iceman to you, in the same vein as Brick, in the same vein as Heavenly Truth 1, in the same vein as Black Power Stick, but he seems to have disappeared. Moving on down, we have the Sergeant Willie Pete. Sergeant Willie Pete, you don't even get the Sergeant Willie Pete on YouTube anymore. You have to find the Sergeant Willie Pete on www.generation-x.net. Okay, that's where you will find the Sergeant Willie Pete and all of his information, which has been going on for years now, and he breaks things down correctly as far as I'm concerned. He does go into that whole light skin bullshit, which I think is bullshit, but, and I don't believe, I think he's very dubious spiritually. He's done 1 or 2 videos that came out some time ago, which was full of Masonic imagery, and I saw exactly what it was. But then, he's a brother who's got a lot to say. You find him on GenerationX.net, and most of the brothers at some point, when they get really popular, they end up coming off YouTube and they have to go somewhere else. I believe the Iceman is now on GenerationX.net. And if you just want to start somewhere, you could start GenerationX.net, or you can go back to the start of this video and find out each individual person that I've mentioned to you, because they are worth listening to.